All right. So we're here today with one of our clients, Tori, who's been in the industry a long time. I can't wait to share this story because for someone who's wanted to build and grow online, you've been thinking about it for quite a while. So Tori, I would love to cut to you and let's start to share because I know a lot of people think about online. They have all kinds of fears around it, not knowing how to do it. Before we kind of get into that, I'd really love to understand, I guess, the origin of your story, where you've kind of come from, a bit about your background. So over to you.
Yeah, hi, welcome. Thanks for having me. I love telling my story because it's all about me. No, so I got out of corporate when I turned 40. I suddenly realised that I really loved people. I didn't want to be just a number in a building. I wanted to make a difference to people, as corny as that sounds. And throughout corporate, I'd already got people moving, and I didn't really think I could make a living of that. So, I guess the first step was jumping out of corporate and becoming a PT. So I did that. Worked for a studio for 5 years as a PT. I think I only did maybe 5 PT sessions.
Okay.
It really wasn't for me. I just loved group. Like I started with small group, and the small group ended up being 10. So that's suddenly a big group. So yeah, and it was mostly, I guess, the time it was HIIT training, and I just loved getting people moving. So I did that for 5 years and then opened up my own business. I guess took a leap of faith. I ran into a business manager friend of mine, and I told her what I'd been doing, and I said, oh, I've only been a PT for 5 years. And she said, well, you can do a lot in 5 years. And I went, oh, hang on, what am I doing? So and that was just when I was about to open my own business. So yeah, opened my own business, which was generally group class. Well, it was group fitness, group classes. I started an indoor soccer field in Thornbury because I didn't have any capital to put into a business. So I just was paying the 2 guys there. I approached them and paid them like $10 a session or something. Sorry, guys.
Hey, you do what you got to do to get started,
Exactly,
right?
and I had no equipment. I had nothing. We laugh about it now. I went to Kmart and bought mats and cut them into threes. So that was my
On a budget.
that was my set up my business on a budget, and I had one court that I booked out, and I did that I ran my business there for 2.5 years. Within 3 weeks, I had 30 people turning up to a 9:30 class. So, and some of the bigger sessions, we had 100 people waiting out the door to get in. We had a drone. We ran massive group fitness classes. And I guess the thing for me was that mums could bring their babies and in prams. And so it kind of evolved from there. And in that time, I was really desperate to set up my own warehouse, but obviously I was getting the capital behind me, and it didn't take long for me to get some really decent money behind me doing group fitness. But none of the real estate agents in the area would lease me a property. You're a female in fitness, you won't be around, and I was obviously rare. So eventually, set up my warehouse, and I've been there for the last 8 years.
Amazing. And I've seen this facility. It's massive.
It is big. It was huge.
Yeah. And obviously you've been able to continue it. And I see that being really common. Like a lot of people go from like an outdoor thing into like, okay, now I need a space. I need to house people
I did do boot camp in the park for a long time too.
which is great, but not in Melbourne when the weather turns cold and
it was tough.
All the things. So if we just kind of think about like the last 8 years, or I guess what you've seen in the industry, you would have navigated through COVID, a whole lot of the joys of running a facility when you probably can't even run your facility. What are probably some of the highlights, the things that you've loved, and then we'll talk about the inverse of that.
I guess the highlights, even though COVID, obviously we got shut down and we were closed longer than anybody else. We knew that was coming, so we pivoted really, really quickly. Like we actually ran a session on the day we went into lockdown online.
Right.
So we were ready to go. We had all the equipment set up. We literally just pivoted to online coaching, and again, we would have 100 people turn up. They had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
To our online classes, like we busted Zoom that many times because we had so many people turn up.
Yep.
which was sensational. We gave out all our equipment. We just busted a gut, ran 3 or 4 sessions. I guess that's where the whole online, like I'd never done anything. I don't think I'd used Zoom before.
Mm.
Um,
Well, I think it's really like I was coaching PTs through that time. So in a previous business, we were educating PTs and going through helping people transition. They obviously love in person, and then having to go online. And a lot of people did that. They ran sessions like live, which is okay. Kind of makes sense because it's kind of just doing what you did, but just behind a camera, and gave you leverage. But it was heavy. Like it was heavy. Like you were really carrying people, and they needed an outlet, and it was exhausting.
yeah. Well, I see it quite differently actually.
Okay.
It wasn't heavy for us. We had so much fun.
Mm.
Like we would have every Saturday we would have a dress up theme. And like we we ran a spin class. So we gave out the spin bike. So we
Right.
ran spin classes online
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
we ran it in hazmat suits. Like I've never sweated so much in my entire life. Like, and we just made it fun, and
Yep.
we set challenges for people. Like I think we set I don't know, a 30,000 step challenge. Like all our clients were out just walking the streets.
They were active,
Yeah,
right?
we thrived on keeping people moving, and people still talk about it as a really fun time. And I think for me, the transition to online probably happened in my mind then. I was like,
Yep.
I'd never considered that you could do something like this
Mm.
online, but we nailed it.
Yeah, it's, I guess I was just sharing this boast. Like look, we were coaching a couple hundred coaches.
Yeah,
Some people just fucking hated it. They really didn't enjoy it, and there was elements that they just, they did it really silly. Other people thrived. In fact, so many people, like the winners, they grew even more
yeah.
in that time. Um, Great that it gave you exposure with online. I guess if we talk about the realities, I've coached a lot of people who've owned studios,
Mm.
right? Like, let's talk about the realities of running a studio.
Whew, I mean, it's so challenging. Like you have to constantly be watching both ends of the business. You've got to be driving sales and memberships, but then retention and trying to manage all of that, plus managing coaches, managing your own health and fitness.
Yep.
We're all dealing with families, like, and every year the rent goes up and up and up, and the overheads went up and up and up.
Yep.
Like, the business insurances is just insane. Like
Mm.
the physicality of running a property is really cost restrictive
Yeah.
now.
And
I'm
obviously,
finding.
you have a problem and you're leasing a commercial place. It's all on you to fix things. Like, they don't really put their hand in their pocket for anything. So it's all
No,
you. Um,
we set everything up and we pay for everything.
yeah. And
Yeah.
this is, look, I think with studios, like, even the most successful people that I've known that run highly profitable studios, even if you were turning over $1 million, the founders left with about 200, 250 grand. If it's
Mm.
being run well, profitably, with a team, with all of the things and all the outgoings, marketing, the whole lot.
Yeah.
So you've obviously had this experience. So if we think about, obviously it's 8 years, there was a lot of joy, there was a lot of fun. There's also the realities of running it. Let's see, how long were you thinking about running an online business, like the thought of it?
Probably since COVID, I guess, since reopening.
Right.
Um, like I think reopening after COVID was the hardest thing we've ever done. Running during COVID was not hard. After COVID, when we had to get people back in and there was all these rules and regulations about, we had to divide the
I remember.
studio
I
into,
remember. Yeah.
we had tape on the studio. You
Yeah.
can still see the tape marks.
Two meter gaps and all the
What's the
nonsense.
point?
Oh yeah, yeah. We're all
You know,
breathing in a space, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So, I think that was from then, and it opened my eyes, as I said, to online and the possibilities of that. But then, back to got to run a business
Yes.
and got to make the business work. So
So how did you, like, if we take you back to like our first chat,
yeah,
because you're just an amazing human. You're so easy to talk to. You're an open book, which is what I love. Talk to me about how, I guess, you were feeling because you knew that you were being driven to online. How are you feeling about the current running of the business as like a feeling, as like, running it, being in it, operating it?
it's been heavy. Yeah, it was weighing heavily on me. It's funny you talk about that first conversation that I had with you, and I remember I was actually at the studio putting up fairy lights in the kids area as we were having that conversation. It's like there's no stopping
No.
to have that conversation even with you. So um, yeah, it was getting harder and harder to run the studio and make it profitable and make it worthwhile.
Yeah, the reality of running a physical location, look, we grew up running restaurants. It's relentless. Like
Yeah,
you're always there. You've got to keep your finger on the pulse of everything you've got to run,
yeah.
from marketing to sales to the delivery to managing the coaches to, like you said, retention. There's a lot, and that's running a business.
Mm.
Um, if we think about maybe the shift, so you've run the basis with us. So we think about, I guess, moving online. Paint a picture for people, because I think people just think online is like posting content, getting leads. Like what, talk about, I guess, your experiences. Like I'd love you to, talk about your experience of how you've been able to build what you've got now.
Well, I think originally the hardest part was what do I have to deliver? What do I have to offer?
Mm.
I'm a group fitness coach. I am obviously passionate about helping people, but so is every single PT and coach out there, right? Uh, for me, it was what to deliver, and that's where Coaches Collective helped me productize myself. Like I hadn't really thought about it like that.
Mm.
So, and you've helped me realize that I'm the best product, and that there is no one like, you can compare yourself to, but no one's me, and no one has my history, no one has my education, my experience of firstly the industry, and secondly as a female and in fitness. Apparently I'm a unicorn. I like that. I'll go with that.
Go on.
I'm a bit rare.
What do people say? Who do people say you are? If you think about being a unicorn, what makes you different?
Well, that I've been in this industry for 10 years by myself, pretty much, um, it was my vision. I created it.
Mm.
Like, and I guess my naivety is maybe something that got me here. But yeah, so going back to online, like having set up a product now with you guys, like I believe in myself and I believe I have something to offer. I think that was where I probably struggled. And the beauty of it has been for me is, I said to you, I only probably took 5 PT sessions when I first
Mm.
started as a PT. I've actually gone full circle, and I really love the one-on-one contact with the ladies that I'm working with now online.
Mm.
The clients that I have online need me and need what I've got to offer, and I'm loving delivering it and seeing their results. And I think that kind of got lost in group fitness over the years. Like I
Mm.
didn't really get to see the results. I mean, people kept coming back, and I've, have a
Numbers.
following, and
You got a huge community. It's hard to keep the one-on-one when you've got,
yeah,
you're catering
and
to the masses in that model.
yeah, and getting individual results. Like people definitely have over the years, but it now feels like that's intensified for me, and I'm loving getting back to that, actually really coaching people.
Yes. So
Yeah,
so maybe if we shift gears and think about, I think I want you to think about like alchemy of self for a second.
yeah,
Because we go through a process with people when they come on board, and before you get into, everyone's like, yeah, cool, I want to get into the modules and build the things, and it's like, yep, cool, but before you do that, if you want to have a 10K per week business online working 4 hours a day, you need to become the person who can run that.
mm,
So we start with alchemy of self, which is it's an amalgamation of 10 years of working with psychologists and doing lots of courses.
it's intense.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a project, right? And we
Mm.
hit people with that before we start. What were some of the, like, just straight up, some of the, like, the fears, the things around your old identity, because you were making this shift and wanting to do it, which is cool, but we have to acknowledge what's going on for you. Talk about what have been the maybe top 3 fears that you had before you went into building it. Because I know them, they've been constant fears. I've heard you say them.
Well, there's the constant fear that you're not enough, that you don't have enough to deliver or give to people. That you'll get to a brick wall, or you'll stop and struggle. Uh, and yeah, I think comparing yourself to other people, I think, is really hard. Like I really have to stop myself, and go back to my alchemy of self and think about, why do I get to that point? Why do I
Mm.
get to that point where I'm comparing myself when I don't need to?
I feel like that's been a massive shift for you.
Mm,
Is that in the start you were looking what Anna's doing and you're looking what other people are doing and you're
mm,
going, well, how does this work for me? But you're really looking outside yourself.
yeah,
Whereas now I see you really looking at, no, there is, obviously we talk about the four ones, right? We talk about who's the one person that you really want to work with, what's their problem, what's the promise that you can actually help them with, and what's the pathway, right?
yeah,
So that's the core ingredients of a product,
mm,
right? But you were looking outside yourself at everyone else, whereas now it seems like it's becoming a lot more aligned.
absolutely. And I really felt that shift, probably only even in the last month. I
Mm,
felt that massive shift that I can just be me and what I've got to say is really valuable and
mm,
I'm enjoying actually saying it.
mm,
And the other thing I guess was that you guys have taught me is not to be so set on the outcome when you actually enjoy the creation and the process. And then when you get to speak to a lead or, a client, you actually, it's just coming from a completely different place. It's
mm,
not a place of desperation or a place of, I've got to get a sale. It's definitely coming from is this the right person for me?
mm.
Firstly, can I help them? And and I think, yeah, that's a massive shift, like that, and I'm enjoying that part of it so much more. It's not a sale for me anymore. Like I was
Yeah.
terrified of sales. I think a lot of PTs coming into this would be, I can't do sales. Like I don't want to do sales. And it feels so different now that I've got a good product. I understand myself and where I'm
Mm.
coming from. And then when I get to speak to people about it, it comes from the heart and I genuinely feel that.
So what if we just think about you having a conversation with a potential prospect, someone on a phone call, right?
Mm.
I don't like all that language. It all sounds businessy. I'm like,
Yeah. Or
we nurture
even client. I hate that
client,
word.
like, but we,
Yeah.
we nurture a relationship because we have all these skills and we want to help people.
Yeah.
And then naturally the people who resonate with you, with your message, content or offers or whatever those things are, because you are building those skills around understanding the psychology and who do I really want to work with, and it's feeling more aligned,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Explain to me how it feels when you now get on a phone call, because now you've got a lot of process. Like, yes, you're very clear on who you work with. Your content is very you. We're getting better at it. It's still a skill, right? It's
It's
a
still a struggle.
we're all on the journey of wanting to improve our message,
Yeah.
right? How does it feel now? And think about it, like everyone says to me, I want to feel more confident, right? Which is the end product of all this work you've put in, over
Yeah.
the last 6, 7, 8 months, whatever it is.
Yeah.
How does it feel when you jump on a phone call with someone?
I feel confident. I do feel confident and I feel like I can just be real and actually have a real conversation with people without, as I say, focusing on an outcome. And I've had lots of conversations with people that I genuinely couldn't help.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say to them, I'm sorry I can't help you, but
Mm.
this is some advice. So I'm not just taking everything, and the people that I genuinely speak to that want help and they're the right people, the conversation flows easily.
Yeah, you trust that. The way I say it is this, like the word sales, I don't have an issue with it because I think that you realize all these internal stories that you have, and the more you can like realize that's all bullshit. Again, you're creating it, so you're bringing it into the conversation.
Mm,
It's as simple as this. Like when you are running the process or you're running the plays and you're doing the things, you're actually getting paid to exist because it's something you would want to do anyway.
yeah,
So then when you're having a conversation with someone, it's not like I'm here to try and like, I haven't hit my KPIs. Really, I see those people that have come through our coaching, and they usually are those people that are super like, they're like exercise science people. They're obsessed about detail and KPIs, and I've got to hit this. And it's like, dude, that's all attachment to the outcome.
yeah,
So it's like, great, I just jump on a call going, don't know this person, want to connect with them. If I can help them, great, we can potentially do business together.
yeah,
And if I can't, then that's okay. But I was there to help regardless.
yeah.
And that's kind of,
And that goes back to the core of why I became a coach in the first place, because I wanted to help people.
mm,
So, and that I think that comes across now, and it is confidence. But I've got everything behind me, right? I've got the
mm,
product, I've got you guys, I've got the scripts, I've got everything
mm,
to know that I can go into a call confidently and take the call in the direction that I want. I can control that.
Yep.
Whereas I don't feel worried that it's going to go in a direction that I'm, can't handle.
No, and through a lot of reps, you also understand how we do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's been a big shift, I think, as well. Like, just paint what like leverage looks like, right? If we think about your delivery, your actual model itself, like how many hours a week are you actually doing in delivery in your current model a
Oh,
week?
probably 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
That would be like talking to clients, following up on leads.
Okay, following up on leads is not delivery.
Oh, okay.
That's growing the business. In the
Oh,
actual business, the running of it.
5?
This is hard for PTs to understand.
5
Like it
hours.
might be 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah, 5 hours, absolute max.
Yeah. So then the
Yeah.
rest of the time, what are you able to do because it's something that you want to do? Well, it's all that work on the business,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
can actually grow a business because you've got something super leveraged,
Yeah.
right? What's been the biggest shift? Because for you to get paid in the past, you had to literally be there in the sessions, running the group sessions or running the marketing to make sure that they're busy enough to be running the sessions. What do you feel has been the biggest shift for you? Because it is very leveraged.
I think going back to it relies on me again. Like over the last 10 years, like when I first started, it was just me. And, that's what I want. And now it's come back to that. Like it's just me and it's on me and it's what I want it to be. Every day is what I want it to be.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that run that story, and I think there's two versions of, I'm going to say, the victim. I call it like there's like the inferior or the superior version. Like ultimately, if you're running a business, you're part of the 8% of the population that run a business because you're not built to work a fucking job. You and I both came from corporate. I did it for 5 years. I fucking hated it. I felt like an imposter. I was
Same.
actually like very good at it. I became the youngest ever financial advisor at a big firm in Collins Street.
Wow.
Right, 23, I was managing people over $1 million. I found that I was very good at talking
Yeah.
with clients.
That
Surprise,
doesn't
surprise.
surprise me.
Right, but then that job itself is about 5% client conversation and
Yeah.
95% power planning, looking at investment
Back-end stuff,
strategies.
yeah.
And I was like, I hate this. And I painted it into a picture where I was able to do it about 30 or 40%, which was great. And I realized there's elements that I loved, but like, look, PT wasn't a thing. It was only
Yeah.
becoming a thing in 2005 when I was entering the industry, right? Very much infancy. Where was I going with that? Tangents, right?
Inferior and superior.
Yes, yes. So when you got to run a business, there is an element of responsibility, right? A lot of people run from pressure, and there's two ways you can view pressure. Like, we know pressure creates diamonds, right? But the inferior version is, oh, poor me. I have to run it, i.e., the martyr. It's hard to accept that when you start to see, like, I've got people in, around me. I'm not going to say who they are because we're on a podcast, but they are like a martyr.
Yeah.
And then I look at parts of me and I go, where am I being a martyr? Because I realize there's parts of my story. Oh, I have to do it. It's on me. It's hard. And the superior version is, and you see this a lot in the industry, it's the lone wolf. Well, I have to do it. It's all on me. The reality is if you run a business, it will all be you until a point where potentially you might build a team because you have enough income, enough profit. And you go, you know what? It's that question we ask in Alchemy of Self. If I had $100 million in the bank, right, and I didn't need money forever, what would I do? And you'd more than likely go and have the overseas holidays, pay off the house, buy a new house, get a fucking car, get all the toys, and then what?
I would still want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you'd probably do it in a way more leveraged version, even more than what you're currently doing.
Yeah.
Right? But all of that requires responsibility.
It always comes back to you.
So this is my point.
Yeah.
So I guess my point, and I love what Peter Crone says, like, yeah, you are the answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
To everything. So if we kind of maybe pivot and think about like your niche and your expertise, because I know you're kind of going into that, but I've had, women come on the phone and they're talking about, I want to work with people in like perimenopause, and, let's be honest, it's only now really starting to be acknowledged as a thing, and you've gone through all of that shit.
Yeah.
Talk to me about why working with women in menopause. I'm never going to forget the line you said, I work with the non-bleeders. That's always stuck with me. It's hilarious. Talk to me
Well,
about
the
your.
almost non-bleeders too.
Okay, so talk to me about your real life experience, why that is so important, like the emotional shit or the physical challenges you've had, and why you're so passionate about that space.
Oh gosh, that's a whole nother conversation. Look, I turned 50 in lockdown. Came out of that, and yeah, as I said, it was really difficult. And I remember saying to a girlfriend one day, I don't feel like me anymore. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, and there was no one talking about it. Like I was 52, but no one was talking about it. And naively, I just kind of thought, oh, well, I'm fit and strong. I'm not going to go through menopause like dumb,
Mm.
because we don't learn about it. Like
Was
girls don't learn about it at school. Like you learn about periods and stuff, but you don't learn about the other. No one, and God forbid they actually teach this in school, because girls will be destroyed. Like
Yeah,
I've got to put up with this my whole life,
yeah.
and then it's in reverse. And if I hadn't had that conversation with my girlfriend, I don't know where I would have been. And so that for me lit up, well, I need to be having this conversation. How
Mm.
many other people are out there wondering what the hell is wrong with themselves?
Yeah.
Like I can't even explain it. Your body changes, everything changes, your brain changes. And the more and more, so I've spent the last 5 years researching it, or sorry, 4 years researching it. And, I've done all the courses I can do. I go and listen to all the experts, and
Mm.
I've gathered all the information, and I've tested it on myself. Like
Mm.
I know what works for me. And I know we're all individual. Like I know everyone's experience of it is so completely
Mm.
different. Like it's not, you can't just go to the doctor and they go, oh yeah, you're in perimenopause or you're in menopause. There's no
There's no
test.
definitive test.
There's no definitive test, and you just kind of, sent away. Most people have that experience. So,
I was talking to you about Laura going through it, and she's like very high functioning, like general manager of a business, and she's just like every night she's like, I'm fucking overheating, like in lathers of sweat.
mm,
But then the other part of it is like in the day, some days absolutely fine, other days, fucking space cadet.
yeah,
Like her head's not working, she's in a foggy cloud, and she's still got to operate.
yeah,
And I'm like, I always watch her work, and I'm like, I don't know how she works. Like I can't work as hard as her. Like
mm,
you'd think I do work relatively hard, but like again, I've
in
had to,
spurts.
yeah, I've had, well, I work like an athlete.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
what works for me. She'll be
Sprinter.
on Zooms like for like 8 hours and
Yeah,
doesn't get up to have lunch, and
yeah.
she's still got to make her brain work. So with you, what are the, I guess, maybe the common, I guess, misconceptions around it? Because I know there's some women that just have no experience and it just becomes a natural transition.
Mm.
What are the other experiences you've had around it or how it's perceived?
Well, apparently there's 34 symptoms. Don't quote me on that, but
Yeah.
apparently around 34 different symptoms that you can have when estrogen starts leaving your body.
Mm.
And I had one client reach out to me and she said, I did the test and I've got 32 of the 34.
I've got all of them.
I've
Yeah.
got all of them.
Yep.
Look, the lack of sleep, like the sweats and the lack of sleep, I mean, that's a common, I guess, thing that people think about. But the less common uh, thing that people associate with perimenopause and menopause is body aches and pains, like frozen shoulder.
Mm.
There's a whole realm of information out there about when estrogen leaves your shoulder capsule, what it does to you. And we get, frozen shoulder or tennis elbow or hips. Like I've had girlfriends ready to go into surgery that went and spoke to, it made them go and speak to their doctor about HRT.
Yeah.
And HRT, like it's been demonised for such a long time. Like again, that's another conversation, but
Mm.
it makes such a massive difference. And I understand there's people that can't have it, and I work with a lot of those. But yeah, it is a game changer, absolute game changer.
What are the core stories for women? And look, we could talk about this in terms of health and why people
Mm.
fucking work and put everyone ahead of themselves. That's a female thing. What do you see being the maybe top 1 to 3 reasons why women dismiss this shit or ignore it?
For that exact reason, I think they've, particularly women that have children, you are so used to putting them before your own needs. Like everyone comes before you. You always, and it's not until your kids are, mid-teenagers that you start to have a little bit of time and you start to
Mm.
realise that, oh, hang on a second, in amongst all of that, I've let myself go, and
Yeah.
and that's when perimenopause and menopause hits. And
Mm.
then so you're dealing with teenagers who need you but don't need you, elderly parents that need you.
Yes.
You're in the height of your career. Most people are in their height of their career,
Yep.
and suddenly their body and brain is no longer serving them the way it used to. You're putting on weight. You're still doing all the same things you were doing, but you put on weight that you've never experienced in your life. And I think that would be the biggest complaint that I get from women.
Okay.
The biggest.
And then I think about this in terms of being a husband
Mm.
and the roll-on effect that has in a relationship.
Huge.
Yeah.
They're not sleeping. They don't feel good in their bodies anymore. They've got no confidence.
Yep.
They don't want to go out. Like it affects everything.
Yeah, I can imagine insecurities when you put on weight as well.
Yeah.
I think as well, look, in general in health, I think people go through their 30s pretty bulletproof, pushing hard. You get into 40s, you're pushing hard, except that it's about 40 and onwards, because again, being I'm 43, I start to see, and you see it as you get into 50s. This stuff manifests and gets way worse. And it's when unfortunately, it takes people to have symptoms or really bad symptoms to finally do something about it.
Yeah.
And obviously when I hear you talking about like almost like having to reinvent yourself in a way, like there's milestones of 40 and 50.
Yeah.
Um,
And I probably would have reinvented myself at 50, but I was in lockdown.
Yeah. And in some ways, whether you realise
So
it,
I think 55 was my reinvention of, myself again into the online space. Like that for me is, I'm probably 5 years behind where I would have actually done it.
Yeah. I think let's be honest, the longer you get, you go like, I don't want to do the grind anymore. Like you do get to a point. Anyone who I talk to gets in their 40s and 50s. That's why we're talking.
Yeah.
They don't want to have worked hard. I don't want to work so hard anymore. You don't, and you don't have to. If we think about, you've got a level of wisdom and inspiration in terms of what you're doing. What does success mean now and for you moving forward? And again, maybe think about alchemy of self, true self, and vision.
I think just really solidifying what I'm doing and taking it to the level, taking it to the levels that I want to take it to. Like I want this to be my everything for the next 10 years. And I know what I want my life to look like. I'm living my ideal life. I just don't have the cash to.
Yeah, well, you're building.
To be honest,
yeah, of course. But you've literally got to the point where you've built an entire new revenue stream.
Yes.
And you can see it start to stack. I think to think about the things and the way you've worked, right? Let's summarize that in maybe 3 words. The way you've worked in the last 10 years. How would you explain it in words? Give me 3 words.
With passion.
Yeah.
I've worked hard.
Yep. You've had to work hard to
I've
make
had to
money.
work hard. Yep. And probably some scarcity.
Yeah. If we think about what it takes for you to move forward and build it in a way that you want, which you're doing, which is leverage and all of those things, what would be the inverse of those things?
Courage, creativity, love, all the things that you guys have helped me realize. Like, I think courage is the big one for me. Like, I look back over my life, my work career, and I took courage. It took courage to do the things, it took courage to leave corporate. It took courage to set up my own business, and it took courage, I guess, to go online. And I think trust is the other word, is just trust in myself that I can do this.
And you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're doing it. So see how all these things, they come together?
Yeah.
Like you are literally living a life that is creating the exact freedom. You're living all your purpose. You're way more aligned to it.
Yeah.
It's actually coming to you in a way which is a hell of a lot more effortless than what it's felt like. All of those components.
Yeah. And I think I've taken the pressure off myself too. Like I'm not in a hurry. I think that's the other thing. Like when you're under a time pressure to do something, like I've got to do it now, I've got to do it now. That's when you come from that scarcity and that desperation. And as much as I need it and want it to work, I don't feel in a hurry. I don't know why. I don't feel in a hurry to force it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, that's part of the letting go
Yeah.
of the old identities that have run the show,
Yeah.
right? So it's like if you want to build your business around your life, and you want to have this simplicity, then you've had to have all of those experiences because, as you say, they're a gift.
Yeah.
They've made you realize, I did it that way. I don't want to do it that way anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. There's been a lot of aha moments in the last 6 months since meeting you guys.
Yeah. So
Mm.
what is, now that you move into more of like you've done the build, you've done the launch,
Yeah.
now you're moving more towards like a growth right stage, and like you're learning so much more about systems and technology, and hey, you're 53 and working out fucking tech, which is half the issue. Some of the guys that I speak to, like,
56, but anyway.
yes, okay, all right.
Old.
What would you say like that gets you out of like the freedom versus hustle phase? Because now it is about being truly aligned and yet consistently taking action and leveling up the skill. What would you impart on someone if they're going down this journey that you've been going on now for the last 6 months?
Definitely taking action. The more action you take, the more it gives you freedom. And I think for me, I'm now in a phase of I've built the product. Now I want to make it a premium. Like I want to take it to the next level. Like I've learned a lot over the last 6 months of coaching that product. But yeah, now I want to make it more me and more aligned and more, I guess, premium. Yeah.
This is the big thing about your product that you're building. And guys, a product has, like, you've built out pillars in your product, you've got amazing tools and resources for people, but you launch it as a beta test. And I think this is the biggest thing that people struggle with. I launched Coaches Collective in December 2021. We're doing it right with you, but I did it because the first thing when I left a business was I need to get on my feet, I need to get it making money. And I knew what that was the priority, and I had all these skills that I had. I wrote down a framework, and you would laugh. It was on 2 A4 pages. I knew my framework. I knew the things that I wanted to be able to coach people on, that I had these skill sets around. And I launched a beta test the exact same way that we taught you for the initial launch.
Yeah.
Because I made the mistake of going down the road of building a corporate wellness program. And I don't know if you remember
Making
this
it
story.
perfect and
I
yeah.
spent 9 months building out all these modules and all these things I thought that they needed. And, PTs are thinking they need to learn about, food and, calorie deficits and macros and fucking teaching stuff. Like, that's the what stuff. That's not fucking hard. Right now, you can chat GPT that as anyone and learn that. It was funny when I ran my first seminar and then I presented it. I was like, this doesn't work. Like, all this plan I had,
all that work.
9 months, 10 plus hours a week,
Yeah.
working on it, with someone else. And the other part of that story, I had a guy I was working on it with because I thought that I wasn't enough. And he was like the spiritual, like really, connected guy, which honestly, like, he pulled out of me the first meeting we had with a human resource manager from a very big multinational business. And I said, dude, we've got our first meeting. And he was like, I think I'm out.
Oh.
After 9 months, I remember sitting on the side of the road and I called Laura and I was like fucking crying. I'm like, oh God, you won't do it. I'm going to do it on my own. And she goes, Mark, you've put on all this work. You know what you want to do.
It, yeah.
You can do it. Go and have the convo. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. It doesn't matter. Like, if you get it, great.
Yeah.
You can do it. And she gave me the confidence when I felt like shattered. And then I went and presented and I sold like a $55,000 program. And I was like, and then it was like, we signed the agreement that week. I was like, fuck, I've got to do it now.
How much were you sweating then?
Oh, I've got to do it now. But then there's, like I said, the second I did the first workshop, I was like, all has to be different. So my point is, when you're going to run like a program, there's so much you're going to learn by delivering it.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing with you guys is, and I hear you say it every single week, is minimum product, minimum viable product, get it out. And I see so many not get it out. Like,
you're in our world. How many people are fucking around for 6 months? And we don't want that. We're at a point where now it's build launch within 6 to 8 weeks. It took you 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't think it was even that long.
It was 8 weeks.
Was it? Yeah.
Because I was like, fucking hell, Tori.
And then it was like, you just pushed me over the ledge. Like, I was at the ledge and you were literally, over you go. And I did, and I launched it, and it was terrific. So,
yeah.
And then, and I 100% agree. Like, I probably never would have done that. Like, it's the building, creating, but I'm doing that now while it's running.
Yeah.
So,
but what takes courage is there's a learning phase, and then there's the execution, and there is a launch. And that's what courage is. It's put it out there and but letting go of the outcome and testing and refining it. And this is the thing I want, like what I love about your mindset. And this is the thing, if you want to build something of real value, something that you're like, you become world class in your space
That's what
around what you know.
that's
Yeah,
the goal.
that takes 10 years.
Yes.
So if I said to you, hey, Tori, over the next 10 years, it's going to take about 15,000 odd tasks for you, day in, day out, week in, week out, to build a multi-million-dollar business that is
Yeah.
having impact all around the world. You do the overwhelm thing and you would never fucking do it,
No.
right? But you've now realized, going through hindsight, do this thing, then this thing, you know,
Yeah.
and launch. So if we summarize that, what does someone need to do to fucking get it and pull the trigger?
Just launch it. Do it.
Yeah.
Just launch the minimum viable product, and you will learn as you go, as I have over the last 6 months.
Yeah. And when you launched, how many clients did you sign in the first like 2 weeks?
Oh, I can't even remember.
I think it was about 13 or 14 clients.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And people go,
I had
what?
like 80, I think I had 80 responses to my message that I sent out.
Yeah. From a
Just the people that I know.
from an Instagram following of like 600 people
Yeah.
initially. Okay. What's stopping you?
Yeah.
Yeah. This has been amazing. Is there any last ideas or things that you would love to share?
No, I'm just really excited to, the next phase. And I think what you said about, like what, I was saying about taking the pressure off and I'm not in a hurry, that's because I launched it and I'm now working on it is the fun bit too. And
Yeah.
it's everything that you guys talk about, creation, courage, and coming from a place of love. Do what you love. And I do what I love every day.
It's pretty cool to get paid that way, huh?
Yeah, awesome.
Yep. Watch this space. There'll be plenty more.
Yeah, looking forward to the next bit.
Thank you for sharing your experience. It's awesome.
My
I love
pleasure.
seeing it. And one thing I'll say is, like, as you evolve, you're going to see some couple of cool changes that are happening in our world. But like, you are graduating out of launch, build. Now there's going to be separate groups of people, so they realize that now you become almost a leader, but now you have a completely different focus, because there is a long-term growth opportunity here. There's a lot of skills that will be built from here now. Because again, what gets you off the ground and gets you making, a good income to a couple of grand a week is not what then takes you to 10 grand.
No,
And
I understand that.
there's going to be some levels here that are going to be fun, but it's really cool just, watching someone do the work. So, thank you, because you give us purpose too.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's awesome.